Scott, so I wanted to ask you about the advertising supported part of Vudu. Tell us sort of where it stands, the opportunity for brands, what ad load looks like, and what the ad units look like, and sort of how you're positioning the advertiser supported offering.
Sure. Vudu started as a transactional service. A couple of years ago, we launched an ad-supported side of the business. What we see is ad-supported content on OTT is TV done better. It's better for customers. It gives them a little more choice, a little more control over what they're watching, when they want to watch it. It's also better for advertisers and brands because they can do a much better job reaching the audiences they want with the messages that are appropriate for those customers. So we deliver standard ad units. You know, we can do 15, 30, 60. We've tried some longer than that. In general, our audience has told us they prefer the shorter, more standard ad formats. We try and keep the ad load very light, typically 6 to 8 minutes per hour, to ensure engagement and responsiveness, and that customers love it and keep coming back.
You know, tell us sort of how you understand the audience, how you provide them with the right service and the right content, and tell us a little bit about that.
Right. So first of all, we know what customers are doing on Vudu. We know the types of content they watch. We know when they watch. That's sort of, if you think about it, traditional TV advertising, right? You want to reach 18 to 34s. Back in the 90s, you advertised against Friends. Obviously, we can do that. We can, day part, we can content target, and all that kind of stuff that you need to be able to do. We also integrate with, third-party providers to let us segment against, more standard types of, auto intenders or whatever it is you may want to reach. On top of that, though, is really what brings power to the platform is, as a company that's wholly owned by Walmart, we have access to a lot of customers' purchasing and behavior data. And so we can know, is this person someone who's interested in buying Coke or buying a particular brand of razor or whatever it is? And we can help advertisers reach the right customers and help those customers feel like they're not seeing ads that are completely pointless and useless to them. It's very interesting, as we've seen 15, 20 years ago, there was a big shift kind of away from ad-supported content. People started adding subscriptions. People started paying for content to get away from ads. And, part of that was the ad experience just wasn't great. Everybody who sat down to watch Friends at whatever it was, 8 o'clock on a Thursday night, saw the same ad. We all weren't the same. Well, if you deliver a better ad experience, it's better for the customers and it's better for the ad buyer.
So tell us about the content, and you guys have some new announcements around original content. Tell us about that.
Sure. So Vudu came from the world of transactional. As I said, we have a very broad catalog there, maybe 180,000 or more titles that are available to watch on demand. The customers can rent them or they can buy them. As I mentioned, we launched the ad-supported service about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And there, we've got about 10,000 titles available to watch for free with ads. That crosses all customer segments, kids, adults, families, you name it, horror to faith to action to comic book movies, everything you can imagine. We just recently launched our first original. It's a fun, modern reboot on the classic movie Mr. Mom. We've done it as a series, a TV series, and it's doing great on the service. Customers love it, and they keep telling us they want more.
So we hear a lot about the streaming wars, what's going on now, a number of independent services that are growing quickly, and of course the big operators, the big programmers, Peacock, Warner Media, Disney, etc. A lot's going on. What does that mean for Vudu?
I think, number one, it means we're heading in the right direction, right? We're not the only people out here crazy enough to decide to start giving stuff away for free. In fact, as we know, there's something like $70 billion of revenue, ad dollars being spent to give away content for free every year in the US. And this move toward OTT is just the next phase in helping that get better. So, we think it's great. At the same time, of course, it gives customers more choice and it lets them have more opportunities to go find stuff they want wherever that would be. So what it means is that we're going to continue to invest in licensing the right content, in developing our own original content that fits what our customers want. And finally, in building out our platform to make it actually the best place to watch that content. Because in many cases, for a lot of content, customers actually have a choice. Where do they watch the content? do they watch it with us, or do they watch it with one of the folks you mentioned, or others? There's other places as well. And so what we think about is, how do we make the experience itself best for those customers? And there's a few things there. I have 2 kids. I have 2 daughters. They're a bit older now. And so I've lived this challenge of finding the right content to watch with your kids, or for your kids to watch perhaps when you're not in the room. And a couple of weeks ago, we launched 3 new features that really help parents solve this problem. The first one, we work deeply with an organization called Common Sense Media. If you don't know who Common Sense Media is, they're, I would say, the premier provider of unbiased, independent information about entertainment. They're nonpartisan, they're independent, they're not political, none of that. They work with parents, they work with teachers, they work with psychologists, they work with professional reviewers to review and evaluate movies, TV shows, even games on about 13 different criteria. And the idea is they provide parents the tools to make the right informed choices for their kid and their family. Every kid is different. So we've deeply embedded that metadata into our service now. So customers can come in and look and say, hey, you know what? I've got a kid who's a little more sensitive to violence, doesn't mind, some snide humor. So I can pick content that looks just like that, right? It's not just, G or PG or PG-13, which is a very blunt instrument. So number 1, Common Sense Media integration. Number 2, we've created something we call Kids Mode. And again, back to my kids, when they were younger, we used to love to go to Barnes & Noble and look for books. And one thing that Barnes & Noble did well, of course, there's a great big catalog, huge selection. But the other thing they did, they actually had a physical space for kids that was separate. So the kids didn't see that great content right next to some Stephen King book, which might be inappropriate for them. And so we've recreated that experience within Vudu now. Under the parent's control, I can actually select the age of my Kids Mode. So if I've got a 10-year-old kid, I can set the view to 10 years old and set a pin, and now let the kid explore. And they're only going to see what's appropriate for someone of their age. And that's very freeing for the kid. That works across content that's already in your library. So if you're a Vudu customer with hundreds or even thousands of titles you've bought, we have those, the kid's going to get a view of only the 150 that are appropriate for them. And we think that's great. The third piece is a thing we call family play, right? And this is sort of next level. This actually lets parents control the playback of the movie as they're watching it. So we've probably all, if we've got kids, had that lunge moment where you're sitting and you're watching a movie that seems great and perfectly appropriate, and all of a sudden some scene happens that you don't want your kids to see. And you grab the remote, and you skip something, or fast forward, or you pause. And then maybe you have to explain something to your kids, or it's an issue. So we actually automate that control for the parents. And we let them set, hey, you know what, I've got a kid who's okay hearing a little salty language. Not to say that she might have heard it from me once or twice, but maybe not really ready for sort of violence or nudity yet. And again, my 2 daughters, they're different enough in age that one was in high school at the same time as the other one was in elementary school. And so finding something that we could all watch together was a challenge. If we had had family play, we could actually set that to automatically skip those couple of types of issues, so that the older one doesn't feel like, oh, I'm watching a movie that's made for little kids. But we just don't see those 2-second or 5-second mini scenes that get skipped automatically. So we're pretty excited about that, and the initial customer feedback has been really great.
And finally, just one question. There's a lot of conversation about SVOD versus AVOD and who's going to win, and you guys are kind of a mix. How do you see your mix as a sort of as a formula for success, and how might that equation change, perhaps?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I mean, I mentioned before, we're a wholly owned subsidiary of Walmart. Walmart loves to help customers live better by saving money. And so we feel like customers want options. We know that lots of our customers today subscribe to one or more SVOD services. They also come out to Vudu because they're finding content that may not be available on an SVOD. It's incremental content. It's the newest of new releases. If a movie was just in theaters, it'll show up on Vudu. It may not show up on an SVOD for many years. So it's choice. There's also the free with ads part. Everyone loves free. What we're also hearing from customers is, and I think this is a bit of a talking point in the industry, but we're definitely hearing it from our customers, is there is getting to be a bit of subscription fatigue, right? And there are lots of subscriptions out there and many more being launched. And we don't believe that most customers are going to subscribe to 10 different services. And so we think it's important to give people choice. Let them subscribe to an SVOD service, let them come in and buy or rent something that's brand new release, and maybe have them come in and watch something that's great, free, classic movie that's been around for a while.